Hey, welcome to the Condemned Society podcast.
What's going on?
Happy to be with you guys. We have an awesome one for you today. Well, it's not really awesome. It's scary.
It's frightening.
It is. It's a new pandemic, and it's killing men. I'm going to say by the tens of thousands in America.
I think it's slowly becoming the largest killer of men. I mean, forget heart disease. This is a threat.
This is a threat. Forget diabetes. Forget obesity. Forget COVID. This is more along the lines of what I like to call bitch vid. It's how today's men in society are just becoming gigantic bitches, and they're so desperate for a woman that they have just turned into the female in the relationship, and the women have turned into the men.
Yeah, it's definitely a societal shift that we've dealt with for the past couple of years, and it's a multifaceted approach. I mean, men have been becoming emasculated from every angle, and during that time, with that void, there has to be someone to fill the void, and women have come in and have been dominating men. It's sad.
Do you think it's because these men are just desperate? Like, they are so desperate to have a woman in their life that they'll do anything they say just to keep them around. And once they get a girl to finally touch their dick once, they think no one's ever going to do this to me ever again. I have to keep her at all costs.
I think that's a big part of it. And when you're not in a relationship, I think most men know to try to not fall into that trap. I mean, I think a lot of guys might think to themselves, like, all right, it's kind of rough out there right now, but if I get into a relationship again, I'm not going to let somebody tell me what to do, and I'm not going to fall for this, and I'm not going to do that, and I'm not going to show my cards and fold like a cheap suit. But then the second they land somebody, the first thing they do is fold like a lawn chair. Well, but why?
Do I have a story for you? And here's where it happens a lot too. Like, some guys will already have a girlfriend. They'll get a side piece. And instead of just keeping this person a side piece, they have to completely throw a fucking IAD into their entire life because now this new girl, they think this is the one. So
they go from 0 to 100 in 3 seconds.
It's 0 to 100. It's running the Boston Marathon, but out of the gate sprinting, thinking they're going to be able to keep that pace up forever.
Can't sprint out of the gate.
I have a friend who is a guy's guy, early 30s, sports car, and I'm talking not a cheap sports car, $100,000 car, good job, had a girlfriend, gets a new job, meets a new girl at work, and starts fucking her. Okay, if that's what you want to do, have at it. I'm not saying I condone it. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it. I think if you're in your late 20s, early 30s, you really shouldn't be taking relationships too seriously anyway as a guy. You should be enjoying those ages.
Is that his age bracket that he's in?
I'm going to say 29 to 30. It has to be right around there.
Just as a quick side note, dating somebody you work with, I think is a bad idea. Sometimes you can't avoid it. I can speak from experience, but...
Yeah. Dating someone at work and fucking someone at work are two totally different things. And if you learn how to keep those things isolated, you'll be very successful if you fuck girls at work rather than date them at work.
Exactly.
It's a much higher success rate to fuck girls at work than it is to date girls at work.
Yes, as long as they know going in, this is all it's going to be.
Right.
You don't want to lure them in thinking it's going to be a relationship, because then it's going to be chaos.
So he meets this girl while he has a girlfriend, starts fucking her, and he's telling me how pretty she is, and he shows me pictures of her, and she's a pretty girl.
Okay.
And I'm saying to myself, all right, well, you're just going to have fun with this girl. I don't know, I kind of like her. I'm like, slow down. You've known her for 8 minutes. Go enjoy if you're going to do this on the side, have at it. That's your prerogative. But don't make any knee-jerk reactions. Within a month, the girlfriend he was dating for, I think, a year or so, dumped. This new girl is in his life. He's spending every day of the week with this girl.
Why? That's the thing. Why the guy? I think we don't want to interrupt the story.
No,
but
go.
I think another episode needs to be devoted to the why.
I mean, I get it. Even when I buy a new car, I don't want to drive it all day, every day. I still want to be able to enjoy it. And I think if you go to McDonald's, after 2 weeks, you're not going to like the fucking fries anymore. Slow the fuck down.
Yeah.
these guys are out of control. Like they don't understand pace, and it's because they're so desperate. And I just don't think they know how to be men anymore.
That's part of it, and the desperation thing. Men, for some reason, and again, I think it's a different discussion entirely, but men these days, for some reason, are so desperate for any ounce of attention that when they get a little bit of it, they just, this is it, this is the one, and they go all in. They throw in all the cards.
All in. So he's dating this girl. He's spending a ton of time with her. They work together. So not only do they see each other every day, all day at work, he doesn't go to the gym anymore. That's gone. She's obviously more important than his health. Within a month, gym's gone, and he's spending every day with her. So now he's working with her all day, spending every day with her. All right. Month 2. He's living there, and he sends me he sends me a picture of a pregnancy test, and I'm like, oh, this is funny. Like, what's going on here? He goes, well, I'm looking for some vacation spots to hit. I know you've been on a few vacations this year. Did you enjoy XYZ where you went? I'm like, yeah, it's great. All inclusive, alcohol.
Weird way to start a conversation.
Yeah, and he goes, yeah, but I won't be needing much alcohol. Then I'm like, then why are you going to all inclusive? And he's like, well, that's the picture I sent. She's not going to be drinking. Why isn't she going to be drinking? Is that her pregnancy test? Yeah. She's pregnant? Yeah. Okay, well, dude, it's early. You have choices. He goes, no, I think I'm ready for this. Ready for this? What are you talking about, you dummy? You've known her 2 months. And now at this point, he's moved in with her. So we go from having a different girlfriend 2 months ago to having a new girlfriend that you're living with that you've known for 60 days, who is pregnant with your child, and now you live with her.
You can't get away. It's like he couldn't throw his life away faster. It's like, how quickly can I hang myself?
I have seen ISIS suicide bombers take longer to destroy their lives than this fucking guy. Right? Like, as quick as you could say Allah Akbar, this guy beat him to the punch. So I go, what are you doing? And I said, now I go into dick mode. My first question is, well, wait, what about, this is going to be expensive. You're paying a ton of money a month on this car. You have a home to pay for. You just got this new job. You're making decent money, but this adding 2 people to your payroll is going to become expensive.
Big time.
He goes, nah, dude. She said, I'll pay for your car if I have to. I want you to be happy. So you're making me happy being the father of my child. I want to make sure you're still happy. I'll swing those payments if the time comes and we need to go that route.
Yeah. Just buttering him up. Just saying whatever possible to reel this poor guy in. Not that he's not already reeled in. He's done.
He's dead. He's already dead. He doesn't know it. He's dead man walking. So let's fast forward because we want to get to the meat and bones of this story.
Yeah.
He sends me a picture of a BMW SUV.
Now, how soon was this after she would help me make the car payment statement? Like, what's the gap of time between these 2 things?
Maybe 6 weeks.
6 weeks, okay.
I said, I knew what he was doing, but I wanted to play dumb and be a dick.
Because tell you.
Yeah. I go, that's kind of cool. It looks like a glorified SUV. I go, why are you looking at that? And he's like, oh, it's good for then more room for the family. So now I'm going, well, did you sell the, I don't want to say what kind of car it is. Did you sell the sports car? Ignores my question. Starts talking to me about all the functionality of the new SUV, which is a fucking glorified minivan. I hate when these guys who used to be someone and have a cool life and have sports cars and Harleys, then they substitute it for this dadmobile.
And they want to try to, who are you trying to convince? Yourself
That's what he's
or
doing.
Me that everything you're doing is acceptable now?
He's trying to convince me, but himself as well, because his girlfriend has already convinced him that the awesome BMW SUV is way better than your $100,000 sports car that when everybody sees it, they're like, dude, badass, that's badass.
When was the last time somebody said, hey, man, cool minivan?
Hey, nice BMW SUV. No one.
No one has ever.
So I asked him again, did you sell the sports car? The response was, LOL, yes. He's dead.
LOL.
It's over.
Kill yourself, LOL.
This guy has killed himself within 3 months. He went from making money, living on his own, having a girlfriend who was cool, who did things with him, to kicking her out of his life, getting a girl pregnant that you've known for 2 months, and moving in all within 90 days.
You don't know somebody.
No.
At all in that time. You're still in the first 3 months of any relationship are like 3 months of magic. Everybody's on their best behavior. It's new. It's exciting. You put up with a lot of BS from somebody because it's new and exciting. So everybody's very tolerant and on their best behavior. You don't know anyone.
No one.
In the first 3 months at all. Maybe within the first year you might get to know somebody.
Now listen, guys, we're trying to help you. We're trying to save you.
This is the whole point of this.
This is the point of this, is to help. We want to save the world one man at a time. And the thing about it is we're going to go over the vaccination for this fucking pandemic. Everything this guy did was wrong. And if you put these simple rules in place, you'll never get caught up like this.
And this is not like some one-off unique story like, this won't happen to me. This only happened to this one guy these guys on a podcast talked about one time.
Right.
This is happening in mass all over the country.
In mass. And it's probably happening to some of you listening right now.
A lot of you people go, yeah, but, we're different. We're the first relationship.
Yeah.
You're the first one.
Yeah. She lets me have my Harley. Yeah, how long you been dating? 6 months? That thing's going to be gone soon.
Yes,
you're going to get the "it's time to grow up" speech. And we're going to save you from all this.
It's too dangerous. Think about your kids.
Yeah. So let's not even get into should you have a side piece when you have a girlfriend. That's a conversation for another day.
Yeah. That's not the point of the conversation.
That's not the point of the conversation. The point of the conversation is what rules can you put in place to avoid a situation like this that's going to end you up. This situation he's only going to hell after. This is where he's going. Because there's no way this relationship lasts for the rest of his life.
No.
Till death do you part.
No. What are the odds of that?
Not zero. He is going to end up breaking up with this. They're going to end up breaking up within the first 2 to 3 years of the relationship. He has to stay in that long because now, if he breaks up with a girl with a 1-year-old or a 2-year-old, you can't Tom Brady this. All right? You don't have Tom Brady money, and you can't get Tom Brady pussy. So guess what? You have to be a nice guy for the next couple of years just so you don't come off as a fucking scumbag that you left the girl with a 1, 2, or 3-year-old.
Exactly.
So now you're done for a minimum of 3 to 5.
Yeah.
3 to 5.
It's a prison sentence.
Now listen.
You get more sex in prison than he's probably going to get.
But I don't know which ass fucking is harder, prison or the one he's getting now from the new girlfriend. Because I think, depending, if you get an ass fucking in prison, it might not hurt as bad as what's happening to this guy's life.
And there's no child support.
Right. This guy's done forever.
No.
And here's the thing.
Forever.
Everyone's going to be like, now what he's hearing every day from all his family or her family is, when are you guys getting married?
That's it.
Because God forbid you have a baby with someone you're not married to.
Yeah.
You're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So now how do I look at myself in the mirror and go, how am I going to not be a piece of shit to the world? I got to marry this girl.
So now it's not just child support.
Now you've entered the dumbest financial contract any man ever on earth could ever enter.
Say goodbye to half of everything you've worked your whole life to build. I mean, the sports car's already gone.
Gone.
That would be the end for me.
Balls gone, spine turning to jello as we speak.
Income cut in half.
Right. So guys, how do we fix this? How do we avoid this? We're going to go over some simple rules, vaccinations that you could take to avoid it. And hey, sometimes, even if you follow these rules, women are crazy enough where they're very, very strategic and very manipulative. Even after you follow all these rules, you can get yourself into trouble. But I'm telling you,
don't underestimate.
No.
They're very agenda-driven.
They have one thing in mind, and that is to figure out how to get married and have children and have you pay for it. That's it. And if you want to do that, that's fine. But God forbid, don't do it with someone you know 10 minutes, right? So let's talk about some of the things you could put in place to avoid this slow death that this individual is dealing with right now. Let's talk about labels. How long should you wait before you even consider calling someone your girlfriend? Me, personally, I don't think I am calling anyone my girlfriend till at least 6 months.
I think that's fair to say. I think you have to put at least a few months on it. I'm going to go 3 to 6 months is a really fair. And this is not, by the way, something that like we just came up with the other day. These are things that we have via life experience observed over time. I remember probably about a dozen years ago when I first started dating the person that I was engaged to. I remember...
That's an episode within itself.
Yeah,
we'll get there.
That's for another day. But just for the point of this story, I remember in like a week or two, or maybe a couple of weeks, I posted something on social media calling her my girlfriend. And I remember you messaging me going, wait, you're already calling her your girlfriend? You've only been dating for a little bit. So this is not something that we've just made up today.
No, it happens.
These are rules that should have been in place for a long time.
See, I personally think 3 is too short, but listen, we're getting one thing straight here. If you just wait and make her wait to have a label, you're setting a pace.
Yes.
You're setting a pace. If you give her everything week one, and also the first month you're dating, and if she hits you with questions like, well, are you seeing anyone else while you're seeing me? None of your fucking business. You're not my girlfriend.
Yeah.
And until we agree to be exclusive, anything I'm doing is fine. And anything you're doing, I don't give a shit about either because I don't want to know.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting there going, hey, you sucking a guy's dick next week while you're seeing me. Like, I don't fuck. It's not my business.
It's none of my business.
I'm not your boyfriend.
Exactly. So it's fair. It goes both ways. It's not like we're trying to come in like all authoritarian and we're the ones who make the rules and the rules only apply to one party. Like, this is fair. It applies to us too. You know, I think it's like you said, it comes down to pacing.
That's right.
You can't just blow your load out of the fucking gates because then you left yourself nowhere to go.
So you're right. And let's say we've gotten to that 3 to 6 month area where you're now comfortable saying, hey, let's do this boyfriend-girlfriend thing. I don't want to see anybody else. I'm going to focus all my attention on you. You still have to be careful with how much time, meaning how many days a week you're going to spend with this individual.
Right.
You have to ramp that shit up. So, but you also want to speed up the process for yourself. I got to get to know this person, but I got to get to know this person without spending 7 days a week with them. How do I accomplish that?
Because once you're there, you can't dial it back.
That's right.
I've tried that.
You can't.
And it's just like, what's the matter? You don't like me anymore? You used to spend all this time with me. Now you're doing this. Well, like, I'm just...
Right.
Yeah, you can't.
It's like, guys, if you get a job and you're making $100,000 a year, and then month 2 comes along and your employer's like, listen, we're going to do 75 now. You're not just going to go, yeah, sure, that sounds great. Yeah, sounds amazing.
I'm happy to be here.
No, you're going to go fuck yourself.
Yeah, fuck off.
So here's what you have to do.
Can't dial it back.
You're 3-6 months in. Things are going great. You're doing maybe a dinner once a week. You may be doing a sleepover once.
Yeah, easy with the sleepovers. I made that mistake.
Here's what you can do. Book a vacation, go away for 1 week, and witness this individual's habits. Witness what it's going to be like to live with this person. Because let me tell you something. They're going to be on their best behavior for the first couple of months of dating. But when you put someone in an environment to act as if they're going to act if they lived with you,
yes,
you're going to see a whole different animal. You're going to see someone you want to fucking murder, or you're going to see someone that's like, she's really cool.
Yeah.
You can't fake that. You can't fake that.
Are their bathroom habits disgusting?
Right.
Are they gross human? Are they just annoying to be around? Do they make annoying fucking sounds? Do you not like the way they floss? You need to see this shit before you impregnate and move in with them.
Right, exactly. So do that and do it multiple times over the first year.
It's one thing I've gotten right is I always try to do that a couple times. I need to see how this person operates. I'm very particular.
And listen, you might do one vacation and she might be a princess. I need to see 3 vacations of her being a princess. Right? So now we've done a couple of vacations. We've seen all the habits. You don't see any really crazy quirks. Then you're thinking, well, maybe I should move in with her. No. No. Me personally, moving in takes 3 years of dating. Guys, I know that sounds crazy.
It sounds like a long time.
But if you fucking put your foot down and give them something to look... Again, stop giving them everything in the first 3 months because you're going to run out of you're going to run out of your bag of tricks. There's nothing left that you could pull out of that fucking hat.
Yeah, and once, forget about the death sentence that is impregnating somebody.
Right.
Once you've moved in with someone, it is really fucking difficult to pull out of that. Think of both scenarios. You own your own home. Someone moves in with you, and now you want them gone. Think about, I've been there. It is difficult to get them out. And then think of the other way around. You've now moved in with somebody else who has their own place, and now things aren't going well, and you have to leave. Like, that is a pain in the ass. Just moving is a pain in the ass. And that is moving plus ending relationship. You can't jump into that sort of thing. I don't care how attractive it sounds. Some people treat this shit like a fucking business deal.
Yeah,
a relationship is not a business deal.
No.
Oh, save a couple bucks a month if I had a roommate.
No. Get a roommate then. Get a dude to move in with you.
Yeah.
Somebody you can kick out. I don't know what to tell you, but you don't move her in under 3 years. And I know it sounds like a lot of time, but it'll give you, what it does is it allows you a good, because first of all, the first 18 months of a relationship, everyone's on good behavior. Then you start seeing cracks in the foundation, if there are going to be cracks. Some might be small cracks that you could deal with. Some might be catastrophic cracks where you're like, this fucking house is falling down.
And sometimes they're right there in the beginning, but you ignore them because you're so smitten with this person who's so perfect.
Yes.
Seemingly.
The problem is new vagina can cloud judgment.
Big time.
It can cloud judgment.
Brain fog.
It really, the little head goes, listen, you go hang out over there. I got this. I'll let you know what our next step is. That's not going to work. So, guys, stick with it. And if a girl tells you, I'm not waiting that long, then you're with the wrong fucking girl.
You're with the wrong
if
person.
a girl needs these things at such a fast rate, she's fucked up.
That means that she has an agenda.
Yes.
And you're not fitting the bullet points on the timeline that she had already set up before she even met you. So if the agenda is more important than you as a person, this is definitely not the one for you. And that doesn't mean you need to cut them off right away, but it means you need to adjust your approach. Now this person is just for hanging out with and not for a serious thing.
That's correct. And usually most women with this type of agenda will only deal with the only hanging out thing for a certain period of time before they leave.
Sure. And just because they already found someone at an earlier point in their life to marry them and make them children doesn't mean they still don't have an agenda. They always have an agenda.
Right. And we're not even going to, I don't even think we need to bother on setting a time limit on getting these women pregnant. Stop getting women pregnant that you're not married to. If you're going to make that catastrophic mistake of marriage, which we'll get into in another episode, don't get them pregnant until you're married. So, we won't even get to that, but let's get into what if you're dating a girl with children.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because once let's face it, once you get to a certain age, that's the dating pool.
That's it.
You know, the age bracket we're in now, the dating pool is people who, single moms. That's there. There's a few unicorns that have made it to this age and never had kids, but they're very rare or they're fucking insane, which is why nobody married in the first place.
That's correct. And so you got to look at a couple things here. To me, my rule is if they have children under the age of 10, I want nothing to do with them. Because it's just a fucking headache. It's a headache, and moms with children that young really, usually, unless they're a dirtbag mother, are very involved with their children's lives. Yeah, their father probably sees them every other weekend or every weekend, but when the shit hits the fan, the mom is taking care of that child at that age. So the child's probably with the mother the majority of the time. Getting alone with this person is going to be impossible, which means if you want to see her, now you're at a dinner table with a fucking 8-year-old and the mother, and
they're not eating their food.
Yeah,
I don't like what you made for dinner. Well, and then you're not getting anything to eat. You don't want to sit there for that fucking conversation. It's not your kid.
No, and you're gonna be miserable within minutes. Unless you're one of these guys that are like, I like fucking children. You're a fucking fag. No, stop acting that way with someone else's kid. Like, seriously, guys, you got to be real with yourself. So I'm not dating a girl with a kid under the age of 10. I'm just not doing it. It's too much of a headache from previous experience. And one thing you cannot do, if you're going to break that age number, if they don't have a father that is in these children's lives, run for the fucking hills. Run. Now, she'll let you just be a sex partner and have fun. Cool. That's fine. Pay for a babysitter. Have a good time. But you cannot date a woman with children whose father is non-existent.
No. Because they are looking for stepdaddy on day one.
Right. And you're never getting alone time with this person.
Yeah.
You're never going on vacation with this person without dragging these fucking kids. You're never going to a dinner without dragging these fucking kids.
You're never having a sleepover without one of them getting up in the middle of the night. I'm sick.
Oh.
No.
So, guys, you got to implement these things into your decision making. So it's got to be no labels for 6 months. It's got to be book some vacations. It's got to be no moving in for 3 years. It's got to be, if they have children, be very aware of how old these children are. Is their fathers in their house, in their life?
Yeah.
And you're thinking, oh my God, all these rules, how am I ever going to find a girl? Trust me, there's so much fish out there. You're going to pull something up on your pole. It's going to happen.
And also,
even with those rules in place.
So what you have to do ultimately is make yourself more attractive as a man.
There you go.
Don't be a slob.
Yeah. This isn't hard.
Don't be a slob. Keep yourself in good shape. Be presentable. Get yourself a good career. These are not things that are impossible to obtain. You don't have to be the best looking guy on earth, and you don't have to be rich, but if you have your shit together,
yes,
then women will notice you.
Absolutely.
Learn how to talk to people.
Exactly. Be semi-intelligent. Don't be on your fucking phone all day. And you listen, like
don't
you were saying,
fucking play video games in your parents' basement for 6 hours a day. Do something with your life, and women will notice.
And you don't have to be a lawyer or a doctor. Have a job where you have your shit together and you're making money. I don't care if it's HVAC or you own a landscaping company. It doesn't matter to me. If you're a hardworking guy who makes money, and on top of that, you can hold an intelligent conversation. You got your shit together. You have a house. You have a car.
Be physically fit.
Be in shape.
This isn't.
Don't be a dunce. Be strong. Don't be afraid to say no.
Have confidence. You can be firm and be nice at the same time. I think what some people might be thinking when they're listening to these rules is these guys are two dicks. And when
absolutely.
Most
women do think that.
Sure,
that's fine.
Let them.
I don't want to date those anyway.
Doesn't matter. But what it comes down to is you can be firm and you can have rules which you live your life by, and still be a nice and decent person.
Right.
And why shouldn't we have rules? Women have rules.
Oh.
Women have rules that they live their lives by.
And they're high fives for those rules all day long in society.
Exactly.
All day long. You go, girl. You go, girl.
I want a guy who's this, and this.
Right.
So why can't we say, I want this, and this? It's only fair. We're not asking for special treatment. We're asking for equality. Real equality.
Well, you got to love it. Equality only matters when it's convenient for the woman, right? Yeah. So, and again, guys, one thing you have to understand as well, if you do apply these rules, a lot of girls are not going to want to date you. And that's okay. But you know why they don't want to date you? Because they know immediately that they cannot control you. And if they can't control you, they don't want any part of you, because women want puppets. That's what they want.
Women have an agenda, and anytime that they see a man that has a backbone and is not going to fold to their manipulation, they're going to say they're going to move on, but they're going to try to, put you down in the meantime. Oh, you're an asshole, you're a narcissist, all this shit. No. That just means that you have values and you stand up for them, and there's nothing wrong with that. Don't fold at the first woman who pays you a little bit of attention.
Yes, and it's funny. I have a friend who's a female, and she's very attractive. And she's always dated stud guys, attractive dudes, fit, smart guys with jobs. She has a new boyfriend who is overweight, a dope, and you look at it, and I'm seeing this more and more. How many times have you walked through the mall or gone somewhere and you see this gorgeous girl with this dunce, fat slob,
I see it on
dope
social media
all the time.
I see it on person.
I ask her, I go, that's your new boyfriend? She's like, yeah. I go, man, that's out of the realm of what you normally date. She goes, listen, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to be very honest with you. I date below me now because that guy ain't going nowhere. I can walk him into a room and no other girl wants to fuck him. No other girl is going to want to be with him or flirt with him. I have total control. And guess what? He does whatever I say and treats me like a princess. I'm like, at least you're honest. At least you're honest. So it goes back to the point of, yeah, a lot of these girls are not going to deal with guys like us, or if you take our advice, guys like you. But look at it as weeding out the shit. You don't want girl. You know what I mean? You don't want girls like that.
No, and if you make a mistake, some of these rules might seem strict, but let's see. Take a look at what the consequence is. This guy lost the rest of his life.
In 3 months.
Yeah.
He is literally dead man walking.
Which would you rather? Some girls say, you know what, I'm not really interested. You're too high maintenance, or you're a narcissist, or whatever she says to the rules that you put forward.
Right.
Would you rather that or lose the rest of your life?
Right.
Which one's worse?
And it's much easier to replace this new girl that you met than replace the life that you just watched die in front of you, because you're never getting that back. Exactly. Especially if you're a guy with an average job. If you're worth millions, you can have these fuck-ups in life. But if you're a guy with an average job making an average middle class salary, you can't have too many baby mamas before you have nothing left for yourself.
Nothing. Your life is ruined.
And once you cross over into that world, you can't ever get it back unless you become such a deadbeat and leave the country and do something radical. Like, that doesn't work. So you live in this prison, which is now your life, and that's it. It's over. So, I mean, I was so blown away at watching this, and it got to the point where I started questioning him. He started to get mad at me. Ooh. And I'm like, why are you getting mad at me? And I'm like, oh, wait, you're not mad at me. You're mad at you. Yeah. Because you're a dummy, and now you have to live this life that you know that you hate, but you can't admit it to anyone. You can't admit it. You can't tell her you're unhappy.
No.
Can't tell her friends. You have to, everywhere you go now with this girl, you have to put on a show that this is exactly what you wanted. And yes, I wanted to fucking sell my amazing car and leave my amazing life to have a girl, to live with a girl that I met 3 months ago, and now I'm this baby's father.
I don't even know. He doesn't even know the woman yet.
Doesn't even know.
And she's making a baby. Like,
and again, statistically, what do you think the success rate is of relationships this new, starting out with a child after 3 months, living together after 2? What do you think the success rate is? It's got to be below 1%.
Less than 1%.
It has to be.
Easily.
So stop thinking you're going to be the guy.
And that's the thing. I think a lot of guys, or a lot of anybody listening to this, is thinking, but those, I'll be able to pick out the women who have an agenda. I can tell, and to that point, the girl I'm with now, or the girl I just met, she's nice, she's different. No. They don't always consciously set out to do these things. This is just the way they're programmed. They could be a nice, caring person. They could genuinely care about you and still have this agenda. And you can still make these fucking mistakes. It happened to me at the last girl I dated. I remembered it was only a couple of weeks into the relationship, and we were sitting somewhere having coffee, and I was talking about, one day I'd like to buy a bigger home that has a bigger garage, and I know somebody who might have a home up for sale. They're going to sell their home within the next year. And
this is the first few weeks of dating.
And I'm just talking to her about...
Now, when you say first few weeks of dating, let's pause 30 seconds for our sponsors, really quick.
Yep. Good idea.
Yeah, because we're 32 minutes in. Celsius energy drink. This stuff is delicious.
Excellent stuff.
They sent us a 24-pack, 2 12-packs. And so far, every flavor I have had has been delicious. Low calories, vitamins, gives you a little energy boost in the afternoon.
Big energy boost, yeah.
Love it. So, guys, if you see any, I'll tell you what, I can't find it at Walmart anymore. It's really hard to find. I'm going to have to start going to Costco and buying it in bulk because...
I think they have it there.
Or if our sponsor can send us some more free stuff, that'd be wonderful. So
free is for me.
This is the first time we're speaking about this, so we got a couple free samples. So maybe after, some listeners, give us some likes and subscribers and start buying some Celsius, we'll get some more free stuff. But check it out, guys. Celsius energy drink. So... let me ask you a question. This was a few weeks in dating this girl. When you say dating, did you meet her a few weeks before? Like, what do you consider dating from the first time you've met and gone out somewhere? Like, how long did you know her at this point that you're having this conversation about wanting to buy a bigger house?
Yeah, so since the first date, it was probably a month from the first date.
And you knew her how long before the first date?
So this is somebody I worked with.
Okay, so you know her she's a colleague.
Yeah.
And that's as much as you know.
Sure.
You're interested in her.
Yeah.
She shows some interest back. You're like, why don't we go grab a bite to eat?
Yeah.
Wherever this first date was.
Yep.
Okay, so now we fast forward 1 month.
1 month about.
You're having some food or what's going on?
We're just sitting somewhere having coffee. And
you're just having conversation.
You're just having conversation.
All right.
Because I own a couple cars. So... garage space is limited, so I'm thinking one day of getting a bigger home, bigger garage, and I'm just talking about this sort of thing. And I can see, as I'm talking about me buying for myself a bigger home for me to live in, I can see the expression on her face, changes.
Like she's upset?
Like it's become, going from, being an attentive listener in a good mood to somebody who's now downtrodden and upset.
Huh. Almost like she's a little worried where you're going with this conversation because it doesn't include her.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. And again,
because you didn't say, maybe I can get a bigger house for us to be in. Sure. Is this where this went?
Well, I could tell something was wrong.
Okay.
I'm not the most intuitive.
Do you ignore it or address it?
Yeah, so I'm like, I was like, what's wrong? Why'd your expression change? And she said, what? You wouldn't want to live with me? Now, this is after only a few weeks of dating. And she's all right. Now, let me just explain that live with me meant move into her home. Because she owns her own home, which, congratulations, that's great.
Great job.
Yeah.
I'm all about independent women.
Yeah.
Those are the best ones to date.
Fantastic. And she happens to have a larger garage than I do. So, now that's all well and good, but I own my own home, and we've been only dating for a few weeks now.
Right.
And she's already, upset that I'm not talking about moving in with her.
How do you respond to that without running to your car, putting it in drive, and doing 90 miles an hour away from this individual? Were you so blown away? Sometimes, this is what I get. Sometimes women will do something so crazy like that where I'm like, did I just hear that right? Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm not digesting that statement properly. Maybe I'm overreacting, because if she really is saying something so insane like, why don't you want to live with me and I've only known you a month, how does she not know that's absolutely fucking insane to even say that?
I was so thrown because she seemed so like she was sad. And I think me being bothered by having done something that made her sad distracted me from the insanity of the state.
You think it's a tactic? Do you think, let me tell you something, that's fucking brilliant. If they know they can act sad and you're like, wait a second, I don't want to make this girl upset, because you've only been dating her a month. So the last thing you want to do is start hurting girls' feelings and being a dick. If you're like, whoa, maybe I said something wrong here. Let me make sure I address that. And it's a way for her to pull you right the fuck in and start talking about living with her.
Yeah,
it's genius.
But
I wish I could be that fucking smart.
I wish I could be that manipulative. I don't think it was purposely done. I think that's just the way they're wired.
Okay. So you don't think there was any type of agenda? Like she said to herself, "Wow, he's talking about a new home. I'm not part of that conversation. Let me get a reaction out of him. I'm going to put on a sad face." You don't think that could have been possible?
Look, I'm not saying it's not possible.
Okay, because women have the ability to do shit.
They absolutely do.
They're calculated.
The only thing I can say in my defense is I didn't respond to it. I didn't fold. Let me say this. I didn't fold and go, you know what, you're right, honey. I'll move in with you one day, even though I barely know you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't fold.
Which is insanity.
Which would have been the wrong thing to do. But I also kind of just stayed neutral. I didn't do the right thing, which was address that. Like, why are you talking about moving in together? We've only been dating a few weeks. So I didn't...
You're saying that should have been your response.
That should have been my response.
And your exact response was what?
I didn't really say anything. I was like, I think I said something like, it's kind of too soon. And I brushed it off and we moved on to the next subject instead of really addressing it.
Now, all right, so I'm going to
pause you. But I didn't address it.
I'm going to pause you right there. Now, hindsight's 2020.
Sure.
We're trying to teach these men how to avoid a situation like you had a near-death experience with this girl. You didn't die. You're not dating her anymore. You got out of it, but it was a fucking headache to get out of, and also coworker, right?
Yeah.
So now you have to see this fucking face every fucking day, and you're the Antichrist to her forever. So, with all that said,
yeah,
right?
Who knows,
right? Because it's not like you're at work and she's like, "Hey, how's it going today? Have a great day." Those days are over.
Probably.
Because you're an asshole now for life because you didn't want to date her anymore. So you're a dick. And just a sidebar, real quick. I'll never understand why, when you try one of the most difficult things in the world, which is to have a relationship, over 50% of marriages fail. Over 20% of those marriages that are still going, they're doing it for the children, which means probably almost 80% of this is failure or unhappiness. So how many relationships fail before you even get to a successful marriage? Every one. So you're doing you're trying to accomplish the most difficult thing to accomplish is to have a good relationship with someone. So when that doesn't work out between a man and a woman, as long as you didn't do anything like fuck her mother in front of her, like why can't you just be friends? Like, hey, we tried it didn't work out. Good luck to you. Good luck to me. Why do we got to be dicks to one another forever?
I always try that, and
but it never works.
It was tough. I'm going to say that in the first couple months after the breakup, it was tough. There was that awkwardness. I will say now it is at a point where we can at least go, hey, good morning, how you doing? And it's real quick and brief. And
how long did it take to get there?
But it took months to get to that point. That was really difficult. I don't understand why it has to be that way. I get it.
Well, you understand why, because women are out of their fucking mind, and they're hormonal, and they don't know how to be normal like us. We can shake it off and go, we failed.
Yeah.
It's okay. So
It's like two guys after they get in a fist fight, they go out for a beer afterwards.
that's right.
You get
Yeah.
past it.
You get past it. You will get past it. And I'm not going to get past two guys getting into a fist fight and then you go stab my mother. No, we're not going to have a beer. You know what I mean? But that's how they act.
Yeah.
So, all right. So going back to when you heard this, looking back at it now, do you wish you would have just been like, whoa, whoa? Because at that point, to me, if I'm in that situation and a girl says that, I already know there's a red flag. I already know I do not want to proceed with this girl because once I see something that crazy, they're never going to walk that back. If they can think that way on day 30, how the fuck are they going to be thinking on day 60 and 90?
And here's what might happen to guys. So they get confused by the tactic and they'll fold, which is what a lot of
Because
guys...
they're trying to be sweet, right?
be sweet.
They're trying to fucking score. And if they haven't gotten laid yet, they're trying to get that accomplished. And they don't want to do anything to hurt the chances of continuing to get laid or conquering it and getting laid.
Yeah.
So they'll say anything and do anything.
Exactly. And so they'll take it. You might, and I think I may have done this too, is you kind of take it as a compliment. You think to yourself, instead of thinking, this is an insane thing for somebody to say to me, you're thinking, wow, they think so highly of me.
Yep.
This soon into the relationship, they must really get me. I'm special. I'm different.
Right.
Don't fall for that.
Right. I mean, it's almost like a pedophile with candy bars for an 8-year-old, right? He really likes me. He wants to give me a Kit Kat.
Yeah.
No. Like, you know what I mean? Like, stop it with that. So now you ignore the red flag. Did you go home after that and think about, man, what was that? Or did you just blow it off?
You know,
Did it always percolate in the back of your head like, this is going to be a problem? This could be a problem? Or, like, did she kind of change the way she acted towards you and that type of behavior didn't resurface again for a while?
yeah, so I will say that I didn't fall for it. I didn't give into it. And so she kind of got the hint that I wasn't interested in rushing into something like that. So then she didn't really mention too much about that sort of thing after the fact.
So when there's that moment of silence, what do you just redirect the conversation somewhere else? Or did she
I just redirected it.
you just went somewhere else with
Yeah.
it? But now was her actions towards you the rest of the day weird? Or did she pick up the face, get happy again, and did you have a happy day?
Yeah, no, she didn't mope after that.
Okay.
It didn't carry on. I'll give her that. Like, she learned what about me that I liked after the things I wanted. I didn't want to get married. I didn't want to make children, so on and so forth. And she learned that along the way, and she came to accept it. Now, I don't think that she liked it, but at least I'm maybe not up front as quickly as I should have. But along the way, I made my intentions known.
Right.
She knew what they were, and she accepted them. But I don't think she liked it in the end. And it's okay for somebody not to like it. Someone can not like your terms and conditions, but you should put them out there.
And also with women, this is why you have to put your terms and conditions out there a lot over the course of 3, 6, 9, 12 months.
Just because you say it once,
they are always going to think, that's how you feel now.
I can change
it. He likes his Harley now, but when we're together, you're not going to need that anymore. He likes his Mustang now, his Corvette now. But
he likes going to the gym now.
Yeah, but you don't need to be in shape
You don't need to be
anymore.
in shape
Why do you have to do that anymore? You're with me now.
Yeah.
You don't need to do those things anymore. You had all those things to get girls. You don't need those anymore. And it's like the Patrice O'Neal bit, which is hilarious, where he talks about fishing. And he says, some of you women got on the boat and stayed on the boat and didn't get off. And she's like, well, why you got to own a boat? He goes, well, I got to own a boat so I can show you that I can still catch fish, so you act right.
Exactly.
If you start giving up all these things that was the initial attraction for her in the first place, you're just going to become a bitch man over the course of time, and she's going to end up cheating on you with the guy that you used to be.
That's it. If you give in to all these things, if you fold like a cheap suit, they're not going to respect you anymore. And they're going to cheat on you, or just leave you, or both, and you're going to lose anyway. And you're going to lose, and when you've already lost, you're going to be a shell of your former self. So if the eventuality is losing, at least lose and be a fucking man.
Yes.
Maintain your dignity.
Now, how long did it take for another red flag to come up after that? Because you dated this girl quite some time. How long did you date this girl before you just said, I can't do it anymore?
It probably was a better part of a year.
Better part of a year.
Yeah.
Do you think you saw multiple red flags? I know me and you had conversations when this was going on.
Yeah.
And I remember listening to your responses, and I think and you correct me if I'm wrong, she was so good at being so nice to you that it was hard for you to stand your ground because you felt like it was going to come off as you being a dick and being mean to her.
Exactly.
And that's a sweet tactic, but if you would have been quote unquote mean to her, the relationship would have probably ended month 4, and you wouldn't have wasted 8 months of your fucking life. Because talking to you the last 6 months of the relationship, you were miserable. You were just trying to figure out how to get out and be nice.
Yeah.
And I guess the lesson is, and you tell me, is the lesson, guys, there's no reason to be nice if you have to get out. I'm not saying to put up a billboard that says Stacy's, whoever her name is a cunt. You know what I mean? Like,
you don't have to be mean, but
you don't have to be mean,
have
but
to stand your
ground
and maintain your dignity. And look, and I'm not saying that she was faking being nice. She is a good,
right,
kind, decent human being. It just means that we weren't meant for one another. But where I failed along the lines is I let things go on longer than they should have when there were red flags there that I willfully ignored. And this is what you can't do. Just because somebody is a good, kind person doesn't mean they're the one for you.
Exactly. Now, I want you to talk about the pacing, because me and you talked about how you absolutely did not pace this correctly, because you two were hanging out almost every day of the week, where you were doing sleepovers there and sleepovers here.
Yeah.
Talk about how quickly you got to that and how impossible it was to walk that back.
Sure. So within like 2 months, 6 nights a week were sleepovers.
Oh, wow.
Within 2 months.
And she's loving that.
Yeah.
Now, are you going there and she's coming here? It's like you're swapping?
Yeah, we're kind of going back.
Because you still have a household to maintain, right?
Yeah, I can't just abandon home.
Right. And you like being home. There's a reason why you have a home and why
like
you're
it here,
living
man.
alone. You enjoy it.
Yeah, after a while, I started to miss my home. It didn't feel right.
Right.
It just didn't feel right. And it was difficult to put a finger on it. And so I tried to, like, walk it back a little bit, and maybe not six nights.
What was your first attempt to walk it back? How did that go? What did you propose? I want to know how you break that. It's like, hey, honey, we're hanging out too much. This is a tough one. I'd love to know how you try to propose that and how difficult it was.
Well, see, the thing is, I didn't sit down and go, this is what I've been thinking, and this is what I came up with. I just started going, I got home from work late. I'm just going to go to bed.
Oh, you're making up excuses.
So I just tried to, like...
And it isn't long before she catches on to you being full of shit, right?
Sure. Or if it was true, like I did get home from work late and I was tired and I just wanted to go to bed instead of packing up my stuff and now going over there.
Right.
That was the truth. But in her mind, she's thinking, well, he used to come over no matter how late it was, no matter how tired he was. And now he didn't this night, or he didn't that night.
What does that mean?
He must be pulling away.
Yes.
And then now, so this person now is not as satisfied. So then their actions towards you are diminished because they're not as satisfied. They're not feeling like they were being treated the same way they were in the beginning.
Right.
Which is a big...
And we're talking about pace here, right? Yeah. This is what I tell you guys.
Sure. You can't pull back from that.
You can never walk it back.
No.
If month 2 you're hanging out 5 days a week, and if you think month 3 you're going to go back to 2 days a week, you're not. That comes with a whole other set of problems that's just going to cause arguments and a breakup anyway. So take your time. Take your time. And let me ask you this. If you would have taken your time, you probably would have found out you probably didn't want to date this girl for the long term anyway, but you would have found out with a lot less headaches in your life.
A lot less headaches, and then also splitting up would have been a little bit cleaner because there was some kind of back and forth, and we tried talking again after a couple of months. We tried hanging out a little bit again, and it was only doomed to fail again after that. So it just would have been more a clear and concise ending, and just there wouldn't have been the stress and frustration along the way for either. I'm not saying just for me. It would have been more fair to her as well.
Right.
Why am I going to continue to waste somebody's time if I'm not the one for them, and vice versa?
Exactly. And the thing also with the whole, when you pull back and then you try to have those talks after you split up, to me that's taking bad milk, putting it back in the fridge, 2 weeks later coming back going, oh, this milk's probably good now. It's been in the fridge. It's prepared. It's still fucking bad milk. So it's best to take it slow. And if it doesn't amount to something, it'll just fizzle, rather than to fucking put the fucking seatbelt on, go 1,000,000 miles an hour, and then try and hit the brakes before you go into the fucking wall.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You can't put the airbag back after
exactly
it's deployed.
Exactly.
It's done.
So, I mean, listen, with that said, guys, it's all about pacing. It's all about the red flags. Take your time. Don't get sucked into. Just learn how to say no. What's the worst that could happen if you say no? Just say no. If a girl you just met 3 months in goes, hey, I want you to come to a wedding with me, and if you don't want to go, say no, I don't want to go. Okay. Would you ever be like, hey, I want to go see the monster trucks. Do you want to go? And if she said no, you'd be like, you don't love me. You don't love me. How could you possibly not want to go see Gravedigger with me? What kind of a cunt are you?
Guys don't fucking act like that.
No, guys don't. We're not bitches. So if you set a standard where you're allowed to say, and I'm not saying you have to say no to everything, but if you balance it,
there's compromise.
You can take a no once in a while.
Exactly.
So it's all about balance. It's all about pacing. But in the very beginning, call your own shots. They call all the shots.
Yeah.
They know how tall they want you to be. They know how much you want you to weigh. They want to know what kind of fucking car you drive, where you work, how much money you make. But the second you demand one little thing on your side, you're a piece of shit. Well, sorry guys. Nice guys finish last. Sometimes being a dick, it's safer for yourself. Women put up walls and safety nets for themselves. Put up one for yourself too. Learn how to be a little bit of a dick.
Yeah, we need to shift it back. We've gone to this place in this country where men have just completely caved to everything. We need to shift it a little bit.
We got to get that pendulum swinging the other way.
We need to
and guys, you can't be a dick without a job. Like you can only be a dick as if you're a decent looking guy, in shape, sense of humor, somewhat smart, read a few fucking books, watch a few documentaries, fake it till you make it, and you have a job, show you're responsible. If you have all those things, you could be a little bit of a dick.
Have some value.
Yeah, you can't be a 400-pound guy that's on his PlayStation at his mom's house in the basement being dicks to women. Yeah. You know what I mean? Those are the guys that have to go in full bore because they're never exactly, you have no leverage. And it sucks that you have to call it leverage, but it is what it is.
It is.
Pretty girls use leverage. They use their looks because every other guy wants them, so that's leverage for them. So, I mean, hopefully you could put some of these rules into place and have some successful, I don't even want to call them relationships, but interactions with women where you don't lose your cock, ball, spine, and everything like my poor friend has lost.
Keep your backbone.
He's dead forever. So, guys, please like and subscribe.
Yes.
Email us. Again, this is the Condemned Society podcast. Our email is savingsociety23, the numbers 23 at gmail.com. Email us. Let us know what's going on in your life. We would love to hear your situation, something that maybe you want us to talk about. And we'll talk about anything. This isn't just going to be a podcast of bashing women. Or, we're going to hear a lot of it. I'll be very honest with you.
There's enough content.
2024 is going to be an amazing year from a political perspective. We love it all. We'll talk about anything. So shoot us an email at savingsociety23 at gmail.com, and we look forward to hearing from you guys.
Thanks for listening.